Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Friday edition of Proline Daily, the longest-running sports handicapping show in America, coming to you direct from Las Vegas. We've got baseball tonight. Baseball's got the whole board for the most part. Jim, 9-1 for you is the current run with high-end inner circle baseball releases. An easy winner with the Dodgers and Cardinals, a 2-0 game yesterday. And with the NBA winner last night on the under, which I also had, 111 and 70, 61%. What do you got tonight?
Well, I got another red-hot inner circle baseball release, Dave. $49 at jimfeist.com, along with an NHL, that's the National Hockey League, and the NBA release for the weekend. We've been rolling, and like I said yesterday, if you don't call and you don't win the money that we're going to make for you, then you're the loser. Make sure you not call, actually go to jimfeist.com and get the winner for $49.
I also had the under last night, had first half under in the full game. I didn't think I was going to get the first half after the first quarter. Yikes, 65 points. So that was not what I envisioned out of the gate. But after that, it was all under, and both tickets got there. So I'm pleased with that, obviously. I've got a high-end value plus play tonight in baseball, and that's at jimfeist.com, $25. Also, you can get a full week of selections plus my pros versus Joe's newsletter included, $99 for a full week at jimfeist.com. So the number is similar as we take a look at what's happening in Game 2 between the Warriors and Cavaliers. Similar. Cleveland's the favorite. Obviously, the total's still high, but we've seen a definite shift here, because I was looking at the wrong thing. Cavaliers are now a bigger underdog than they were in Game 1, and the total came considerably lower than it did in Game 1. That, especially on the side, I would call that a bit of an indicator, because a lot of bettors like to go the zigzag route, and if the road team lost Game 1, they'll take them in Game 2, but they're certainly not doing that at the outset here, Jim.
Well, yes, they're actually betting against the zigzag, which you hardly ever see. But what we saw last night is that the Cavaliers would have played better defense had they stayed in the clubhouse. It was atrocious. I've never seen anything quite like it. I mean, I saw players, and I'm sure you saw it too, turning around and saying, "What am I supposed to do? Where am I supposed to be?" I'm not sure if they're well coached or just missed their assignments or what, but it was a shit show. And like I said, they'd been better off staying in the clubhouse, and I doubt that the Warriors would have had an easier time. It was ugly, but going back to last year, Dave, and we talked about it before that we started taping, it was kind of the same thing. Yep. First 2 games, Golden State whooped them, and things changed, and they ended up losing the series. But things are a little bit different. There's different players on each side. You have actually a different coach for the Warriors because of the bad back problem for Kerr.
Kerr might be back for Game 2.
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
That's what I saw last night.
They're not going to play any better. That's for sure.
The defensive effort was tremendous on Golden State last night. I mean, Cleveland shot 35% for the game, and they're not winning shooting 35%, and they couldn't stop Kevin Durant, who did whatever he wanted to, and was loose for dunks and breakaways all night long, en route to getting 38 points. Durant was the star of the game, but the Warriors were just way, way better than Cleveland last night. So, I've got the Warriors in 5. We'll see what happens. I'm not counting my eggs, counting my chickens, whatever the expression is, off one game, but always nice to get the first one in.
Well, it is. I mean, Durant is obviously a big addition for this team. Of course, everybody knows that. Nobody needs to hear that from me. But the Cavaliers, I didn't think they were going to look that bad. It was actually, and they were only down 8 points at the half, which was absolutely remarkable. They should have been.
Let me throw one thing in though. This is the first real good NBA team Cleveland's faced in a long, long time. The Eastern Conference just isn't very good, and Cleveland has not faced tough competition for 3 series now, and the way the NBA goes, that's about a month. So I think it's fair to say that Cleveland really suffered in terms of stepping up in competition last night, and now they're going to have to find a way to step up themselves, which they did last year.
They did. Well, I'd like to point something out along those lines. Yes, Cleveland came into last night having won 12 of the previous 13 games. They blew the one game to Boston at home. Very lackadaisical effort on that game. However, let's take a look at the Warriors. They played Portland, swept them. Portland's a good team, but not a great team. They have 2 fantastic guards that are difficult to deal with, but that's about it. They're not that strong a team. Then they played Utah. Utah's, gave them a better competition, but still they beat them 4-0. Utah's not one of the best teams in the league. They're good, but they're certainly not fantastic. Then, of course, they played the Spurs, which we thought would be a competitive series, but Kyrie Leonard got hurt, and they were down 23 points to them at that point, and then, of course, they won those 4 games. So, in reality, the Warriors haven't played anybody tremendous either.
I'm going to disagree. I think Utah would have been the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference. I think they're better than anybody else except Cleveland in the East. San Antonio, we put an asterisk on that. But the fact is, they're still pretty talented even without those guys. I think Golden State's played a lot better quality competition. I have very little respect for the Eastern Conference. I think beyond Cleveland, there's nothing in that conference. I think even Boston, if you stick them in the West, I think they're a 500 basketball team, and they were the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference. So, I could be wrong on that, but those are my feelings. So, I think Cleveland suffered last night on the fact they played limited competition, and they'll have to pick it up.
Well, they will have to pick it up. So, we're not disagreeing really in the sense that this is a much better team than Cleveland has faced all year, except for the 2 times they did play them. But this is the playoffs. Regular season you can kind of throw out. I don't know if they can make the adjustments to cover these guys.
They're going to have to get a better offensive rebounding.
Well, they got. Points in the paint at the first half were like, I believe I'm right, 42 to 14 or 42 to 16 points in the paint. Yeah. You can't do that. You just cannot do that. You can't overcome that by shooting 3-point shots. You can't do that.
In the win they had against Golden State, they had a ton of offensive rebounds and got a lot more shots. In the loss, they didn't have that kind of production, and they ended up getting smacked around. So, look, I think Golden State's got better personnel, and I think it's going to continue to show in the series. I probably won't play Game 2. The total, if I get involved in the total, it's going to have to still be under, because outside of the first quarter, it was a big under game. And on the side, though, I don't think I'm going to want to lay that many. So I'll take a look at the total. I haven't played it yet and haven't decided for sure what I'm going to do there. But first impulse is that we might see another under game. Well, baseball tonight.
On baseball. It's baseball is now going to take over for the rest of the summer. And, of course, there's a lot of we haven't talked about it, but there's a lot of lines up for for the NFL and college football as well. A lot of books out here are taking action early.
Yep.
And some interesting line moves, but I'm sure you're on top of that, Dave. Well, maybe we'll start covering a little bit of that next week.
Yeah, but I'm not ready to do college football yet. I'm still working on it, but we're getting there, that's for sure. No, there's no rush to judgment, that's for sure. Big game tonight. This is the spotlight game. Astros and Rangers. Look, there's obviously a rivalry here of the two Texas teams. The Rangers, they've been good at home, not so good on the road, to put it mildly. Houston has just been ridiculous every place. 38-16 on the season, 18-6 on the road. How do you play 750 ball away from home? They've won 7 in a row. They just beat the snot out of the Twins, 40-16. They've killed losing teams. You know, it is a good matchup, though. Keuchel on one side and Yu Darvish, who's the Rangers ace, on the other. And Houston has a terrible history in this ballpark. The Rangers get pretty fired up for these. So now that's obviously a lot of that has to be, you have to factor in the current strength of the teams when looking at that history. They're not the same teams, obviously. But we'll see if the Astros can do a little damage in what has been a house of horrors for them over the years.
A great matchup. There's no question. It's a rivalry. It's all Texas. Houston's 38-16, winning 7 in a row. Texas 26-28, playing a little bit better. They have played way better at home, like you said. Darvish is a darn good pitcher. He got a 2.84 ERA, 1.16, and a WHIP. Keuchel is out of this world, 181 and 0.87 in the WHIP. 9-1 when Keuchel starts, their team record. He's had 8 straight victories when he starts, and I mean, it's been incredible. They are right now the best team in baseball.
Oh yeah, by a good margin. Rangers not playing particularly well right now. They've lost 7 of their last 9, so we'll see what happens there. I look on the money as far as this game goes. The public is, of course, betting the Astros, and you can't knock them on that. Looks like maybe a little sharp money on Texas. Good luck to them. I'm not going to play the game, but I will not be playing against the Houston Astros anytime soon. It's that simple.
The thing was, you talk about Toronto win, or not Toronto, but Texas won on the road after a 10-game winning streak, and most of those games are at home, if not all of them. And yeah, they went into a tailspin, and then when they came home against Tampa, and they lost 2 out of 3 to Tampa, but Tampa's also playing pretty well. But this is a turnaround spot for Texas. It's a big game for them. If they want to have any chance whatsoever of catching this team, they're going to have to put a big effort. And like you said, it's a house of horrors for Houston down there. So that's why the money, I think, is coming in. And Darvish is a pretty good pitcher.
No question about that. Well, it should be a fun night on the Diamond. I've got one game that I like quite a bit that I've played already. And you can get that for $25 at jimfeist.com. And Jim, you've got another big one tonight.
I do. This is one game I really, really like. It's at jimfeist.com. I've been red hot in baseball and basketball. You want to go to jimfeist.com, get this game for $49, and I have NHL and NBA releases as well. jimfeist.com, and you can connect with me on social media with the Twitter, the Facebook, Instagram at Jim Feist Sports.
And don't forget free plays every day on tape at 888-294-1970 or by text. Just text GAME, GAME, to 25827 to get free plays every day. Thanks for joining us. For Jim Feist, I'm Dave Cokin. We will see you on Monday with another edition of Proline Daily from Las Vegas.